Welcome back to Happy-ish, the podcast where we take one happiness idea each time and explore it. And today we are exploring friends. So Sally, tell us about your friends. Do your friends make you happy?
Of course they do. My friends are very, very important to me.
You say of course, but I'm not sure if mine do, but we'll come to that in a minute. We'll come to that. But tell us why. What is it?
We're creatures who like company. We look for companions.
Yeah.
We like to be in a group. I read somewhere that the most important things about friendship are a willingness to listen and a willingness to help.
What was that? Carry on.
Oh, dad jokes, please save them for another day.
So willingness to listen to our friends.
And a willingness to be helpful, and that you should do those things
a
lot.
Do you think introverts also value friends just as much as extroverts then? Because they're good listeners, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, I think everybody values, so everybody needs a friend.
Yes.
I've got a friend in me, etc.
Yes, I'm imagining introverts quietly just hanging around with other people and feeling happy, and extroverts, dancing around with other people and all talking at the same time and feeling happy.
Yeah, maybe.
But loneliness is definitely, you don't want to go there.
No, it's a bad thing to be lonely.
Yeah.
You want to have people around you.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere that 80% of your happiness comes from other people.
Okay.
And only 20% comes from material objects like, a car or whatever.
Yeah.
And even a car perhaps makes you happy because you can go out driving with your friends, or you can go and see your friends or show it off to your friends. And, maybe if you just had it on its own on a desert island, just you and the car, it wouldn't make you so happy. And I think that's probably true.
Yes. You could argue that you have relationships with all these inanimate objects as well. So maybe if you talk to your car, then it would be. My
car is my only friend.
Yes. Especially these days when the cars talk to you anyway.
Yeah.
But that's down another rabbit hole. No, friends are really important to me, and I think they are to you as well.
Yeah, you've got more friends than I have, I think. Is there a limit to how many you can have, or what do you think the ideal number of friends would be to have?
Oh, well, they move along, don't they? And you have current friends and previous friends and future friends in the pipeline.
Yes.
I think...
Some friends who are on the way out.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to come to that as well, I think.
Okay.
But I seem to remember our daughter Louise on Facebook. Did she have, was it 500 friends or even 1,000? I can't remember. I remember being outraged by how many friends she had. They can't all be friends.
But that's another thing, that the phones and the computers give you the appearance of friendship because you're engaging with something, but you're not, and you're getting positive or negative feedback. You're not actually seeing them in the flesh and really understanding them. Yeah,
I think I've got about 100 so-called friends on Facebook, but there's only about probably 5 who I regularly chat on Facebook with. And I do keep in contact. They're around the world. And I think things like Facebook do have their place for friends.
Yeah.
You can have a few real friends on there, but obviously face-to-face is what we're talking about.
Yes, most of the people are just saying a like for your happy birthday or whatever.
And you've got a really good group of friends.
I have.
Half of them are called Jenny.
Yes, makes it easy.
Yes, and then the others are called Kerry and Maggie and things. But they're all, I think they're very similar to you.
Yes.
Probably.
I think to make a friend, to start with, you have to be quite open and vulnerable to make a real proper friend.
Ooh.
You have to share, you have to be listened to, you have to feel seen, as they say. And I think that's one reason why men don't have quite so many close friends, because that's something extra to do.
Yeah, I think I've got quite a few people who I only see occasionally, who almost acquaintances really. Yeah. Although I like them, but I hardly ever see them. And I've got some who I see quite often, but I think I've got very few really close friends. Whereas you've got several really close friends, haven't you?
Yeah, and it takes a bit of work. It's not bad work, it's not horrible work, but to keep in touch with people, remember their birthdays, send them flowers when they've done something nice.
Where I'm going wrong. I need to send flowers to Dave.
Or even just when you're remembering that somebody's got something good happening or something difficult happening, keeping in touch and just showing that you're their friend. Although there's also having all the parties and going out. And
yes, you have regular meetings with friends and activities you do with your friends. And I kind of, apart from going out and have curries with people, I'm a bit stuck for activities to do with friends. And I've got various alpha male friends who I'm almost a bit frightened of. And they go, we should all hire some sports cars and go drive down to Le Mans. And I'm thinking, oh, God. Or they go, let's all go rock climbing in Anglesey or somewhere. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I can face that. But maybe they are good for me, and maybe my alpha male friends pull me out of my comfort zone a bit.
Yeah.
And perhaps that's something good that comes out of friends.
And you never know, maybe if you say to them, that's a bit much for me, they might go, actually, it's a bit much for me as well, but we thought that was what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I like that theory. You were talking about keeping in touch with them all, and I did a very sad little spreadsheet a while ago, and I listed all my friends. And then I put.
Sure, you want to make this?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to confess this now. I won't name names in case they're watching, but I listed them all, and I put how often I wanted to see them, because partly because they live a long way away, partly because they're a bit boring. I only want to see them maybe say twice a year would feel about right, and some people I'd like to see maybe once a week. I'm afraid nobody qualified for every day,
Except me.
Just yeah. So, but looking at how often I wanted to see them, once a month or whatever, I put all that down, and then I added it all up, and found that there wasn't room enough to fit all my friends in.
Well,
and
there you are. You're the man who's just said you haven't got any friends.
Well, it didn't take very many
to
fill up the imaginary diary completely, and then it got me thinking that maybe the most important thing is to spend lots of time with your really close friends. And maybe you should thin out the ones who you don't see very often, or maybe the ones who you see quite often, but you don't really want to. And you should be kind of really ruthless and have what I call a friends audit and demote some people down from monthly down to yearly or something like that. And I mean, you've never done anything scientific. You all seem to just effortlessly just fit into your diary somehow.
Well, I just make space for them. It's not that hard. Well, I'm just not as organised as you.
Well,
so I'll cancel things to go to coffee or not.
I think maybe one of the things you do is you see groups of them at the same time as well,
that's
which
true.
I hadn't really thought of in my little spreadsheet. So it's more efficient like that.
But it's okay to spend more time with current people who are relevant and easy to see with what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Whereas at the same time, old friends keep you young, or previous friends.
Yes, that's right. You've noticed that when I meet up with friends from school, I regress right back to how I was when I was 8, which is a great feeling for me. I'm not aware of it. I don't know what it's like for you.
I had a lovely theory, and which is something that I think about often, which is that you remember people, or whenever you see somebody that you've known for a long time, in your head, they're still that same age.
Yes.
So.
Oh, yeah. I took a photo of a bunch of old school friends when I met up with them recently.
Right.
And when I looked at the photo, I just didn't recognise who all those old men were. I thought, who is that? Why? Who is that? Because when I was seeing them in real life, I was seeing them. They obviously didn't look 20, but they maybe looked 35 or something. And it was really odd because the camera doesn't lie, and that must be what they really look like. But they didn't look like that to me, and they didn't feel like that to me. It felt like we were back in the old days. And I do find if I meet up with a friend who I haven't seen for maybe 20 years, we instantly go back to how we were.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think it's never too late to meet up again with somebody.
No.
Although sometimes when you meet up, you find that they've drifted apart from you a bit and their interests have changed. Or I have got one or two friends who I think have become old in their mind. Don't care about the body, but if their mind becomes old, but I think that they start to get a bit negative and a bit sort of cautious about the world, and I don't like these new iPhones or whatever. And
that possibly after a little bit of time with you excite their fun side, and so that
maybe
they remember that they're younger as well.
I think that's probably just part of growing apart, really. And I think, you know, possibly we do grow apart from some friends, and then we should let that fade and just see them occasionally in case they've changed for the better again. But maybe let them fade and spend more time with the core friends, the real key ones.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's the...
But we're talking about happiness, so we want to be not thinking about people going
how to get
away
maximum
and
happiness from your friends.
How can we get the best from the friends that we've got?
I had a thought, although it's not entirely, it's a semi-happy thought. Well, because I had a thought that there's a bunch of friends who every now and then I contact them all and say, we haven't met up for ages, so we all meet up for a curry. And they all go, oh, that's great. And we find a date when we can all make it, and we all meet up and we all have a meal, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, we should do this more often. And I think it's just a really good idea to make a bit of an effort to organise things occasionally. If you identify something that really is fun, why not do it more often? Not so often you'd get bored with it, but, you know, at least maybe every month or two, get them together instead of it being once a year. Yeah. And then we wonder why we don't do it more often. But the only slight sort of edge to that, tinge of that, is that none of them ever organise it. No. And I'm thinking it could just be that I'm more organised or that I've got more time. But it could be that they don't like me as much as I like them. They're not as needy. You know, they've all got their other things they're doing. So I don't know. So I feel slightly, you know, why should I have to organise? But then when I do organise it, it is always brilliant. The
question is, though, if you enjoy it, and so therefore do it. What you don't have to think about what they're thinking.
Yeah.
If they don't like you, they wouldn't come. So that's easy.
Well,
just doing things that you want to do and bringing some friends with you.
One of my friends, Andy Edwards, said to me that you always gasp when I mention his name. But Andy said to me that if you don't like someone, they probably don't like you either. No. Okay. And I found that a bit of a shocker when I heard that first. It was only about last year, because it made me think I've got a few people, I'm going to call them people rather than friends, people who we would perhaps be classed as friends, but who I don't really like. But I think they like me, and I think they don't know that I don't really like them. But according to Andy, if you don't really like them, they probably don't like you either. No. And that's quite a scary thought. And then I'm sort of thinking, why do I even see them at all, really? So, but these friends who I have the curry with, I do like them. And therefore, they probably do like me. And that's, although I'm going to call out Toby as well now while I'm thinking about this, because one of my best friends at university was called Toby. A really good guy, really clever, really interesting guy. And I always felt that I was just an acquaintance to him. He tolerated me, thought I was okay, but I thought he didn't really like me. And then when we left university, we drifted off into our own separate worlds. And I lost touch with him for about 20 years. And then one day I was in London, I thought I'd contact him. Yeah. And I met up with him. And he said, why haven't you contacted me? You've blanked me for 20 years. And I said, well, I thought you didn't really like me. And he went, of course I like you. He said, he didn't feel that he could be the one to contact me, and I didn't feel I could be the one to contact him. It was like some bizarre sort of date, wasn't it? She'll never go out with me. And so now we do see each other quite often, and it's great. But I was really surprised to discover that he did actually want me to contact him, and that he was a genuine friend. So that's the opposite of what you were saying earlier, where the people, if you don't like them, they don't like you. Well, if you like them, the chances are. Yeah. And so like if there's somebody who you don't see very often or you think may not like you, if you like them, they probably do like you. And you absolutely should just say, do you want to meet up? And if they say no, then you do know they don't like you. And all these are just examples of being willing to work on a friendship and just make it happen. Of course, I've got two afflictions really, because one is possibly a little bit on the spectrum, being super organised, etc. But the other one is being half Norwegian. And although I'm really proud of my Norwegian half, may I say, but in Norway, they say, I like you, I'd like you to be my friend. Or they say, I don't really like you, don't bother coming around anymore. And they will literally tell you, there's no facade. Whereas in England, of course, you have to sort of invite somebody for tea and they have to invite you back. And you think maybe they like you because they've invited you, and you never really know in England. In Norway, you know. Well, yes, I suppose so. Although they are scrupulously polite as well. You're just making it sound like they... No, I really admire the Norwegians because they don't mess about, and you know where you stand. And they see it as honesty. Yeah. I think sometimes we English think they're a bit rude, but they're not. They're just being honest.
I think there's one other thing about friends which are great, is that they give you confidence. So you find people who are doing the same things as you, maybe making the same mistakes as you, or giving you advice on what to do next. And so friends can give you confidence to get out there and be a bit more creative and just generally
That's interesting.
feel loved. You feel loved because you're part of a group, and you love them because they're willing to come to your evening out.
I think maybe one of the factors when you're deciding which friends to really spend a lot of time with and which friends to spend less time with, if you want to maximize your happiness, is to choose the positive ones.
Yeah.
Because if you've got friends who are kind of cynical about stuff and go, oh, that'll never work, and you don't want to do that and things, I agree. I think they can really drag you down. Whereas if you've got friends who go, yeah, go for it, and you could do it like this, and I can help you with this if you want. That's the kind of friends you want, because they'll elevate your whole life and they'll make you more successful as well as happier. So, things like, should you have a list of goals that you're working on? Yes, you should. Should you show it to your friends? Well, I hope so.
Should.
Yeah, if you've got the right kind of friends who you can show it to,
then
that shows they're the right kind of friends. So if you're like, oh, I'd never admit that to my friends, then are they real friends?
Yes, and also that makes you question a little bit your goal as well. If you're not prepared to share it with your friends, then maybe it's not for you.
Isn't there what's that definition of a friend, of somebody with a van? Or is it who will help you hide a body or something? What was it? I can't quite remember.
I can't remember
it was
either.
Something
it's
like
along
that.
those lines.
But a real friend will help you out if you need it. Obviously not to help you commit a crime, but a real friend will help you out when you really, really need help. Yeah. Somebody who will really care. Like, if you're ill, who'll be there or whatever.
Yeah.
But also just somebody who's positive and uplifts you. And basically, if they make you feel happier, then we want them.
Really
that's the purpose of friends, to make us feel happier.
Make us happier and to make us keep us younger.
Yeah. And I think just a final concept is you can decide you're going to get more friends and decide you're going to be more open to making friends. And you can, for example, I've recently joined a tennis club. Now I've got a bit of time and I'd like to just play a bit more tennis. And you can either go in there thinking, I'm just going to go stamping into court 7, play tennis and get the hell out. Or you can go and have a drink at the bar afterwards and chat to some of the other people who are there, who are probably going to be quite similar to you because they're there. And so to be sort of interested in other people and up for chatting.
It's certainly the way to get more and more tennis, because the more people you know, the more likely you are to play tennis.
Yeah, well, that's true as well.
And everybody loves you when you spend time earlier or later, not just there for the game. Because otherwise you can just arrive 5 minutes late and then leave instantly.
Yeah, which is why you're laughing, because that's what I usually do. Yes. But I remember when I first started at university, in the first week, I wanted to make friends with everybody, and I collected all these people. And then the rest of the time is spent getting rid of the ones who you don't really like. And, you sort of overdo it in the first week, don't you? It's probably the same when you go to school to start with.
Yeah.
You're certainly trying to identify who's going to be your best friend in those early weeks. But when you get to a certain age, where I am at, I kind of think, am I going to make any more good friends now, or are all my best friends from school? But the answer is, I think you absolutely can make a really good friend at any age.
Yes, and with any age as well.
Yeah, and it's just about chatting to people. And I read a thing only last week. They said when you meet, maybe you told it to me, when you meet somebody, don't ask them what their job is. Because that immediately you put them in a box. They say they're a lawyer or an estate agent or an engineer. You immediately, oh, right, that's the kind of person. And what you should do is just ask them what they're doing at the moment, or what
do you do for fun?
Yeah. Try to work out what they're like as a person, and later on find out what their job is. Yeah. So meet everybody as if for the first time. That's one of your phrases, isn't it? That I've copied. It is. And I think that's a really good idea. Keep collecting friends, because if you find some that are better than some of the ones you've got, you can keep on replacing and upgrading your little friends collection, can't you?
So beware, friends of Chris.
Yes.
You might be upgraded at any minute.
It could happen. It could happen if you're watching this. Right, so that's a kick around of the friends area.
Yeah, and they definitely make your life better.
Yeah.
Friends are joyful. A good friendship is joyful.
Yeah, and I've got a few friends who I really love and are incredibly joyful. I want a few more really close friends. I don't feel entirely I've found my tribe. I think a lot of my friends are in lots of different tribes. I've got musician friends who are just 100% music guys. And I'm not really quite as rock and roll as them,
No.
you know? And then I've got my real alpha male friends, but I'm not really as alpha male as them. And I sort of feel I'm peripheral on quite a few groups. And there isn't a group called Chris or people like Chris.
They're all searching for you.
But I wonder whether everybody else feels like that, or whether, because I think you absolutely have found your tribe.
But you can find friends everywhere and not be too demanding of them. And
They don't have to fit into a tribe. They can be a collection of oddments.
No, just enjoy the moment with them. Enjoy being with them rather than wondering how useful they are to you.
Yes, or whether they fit into some pattern.
Yes, just...
Right, enough of that. Let's look at the quote.
Okay.
Who's doing the quote this time?
You go. You're a hero.
I'll do it. I'll get one out of the big container. And the quote is, be happy for this moment.
Ooh.
This moment is your life.
Yeah.
So the first half applies really well to our friends' conversation. Just be
certainly
happy
does.
for the moment. And it doesn't matter whether they're close friends, old friends, whatever, you know, do they like you or not? If they're making you happy, then that's great. But the second bit, this moment is your life. Boy, that's quite something, isn't it?
I know. It's one of those things that's inspirational, but also a bit scary.
Yeah. Do you know who that one is?
The Dalai Lama.
We always guess the Dalai Lama, don't we? It's actually Omar Khayyam,
Okay.
who I feel I ought to know more about, actually, Omar Khayyam. We don't know much about him, but I suspect he's written a lot of really good books. And,
Okay.
yeah, he rings a big bell.
Yeah.
We might do an episode
Yeah,
on him one day.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
moment is now is all you've got.
Be happy for this moment. This moment is your life.
So are you happy?
Right now, yes.
What more could we want?
Yeah,
A warm
absolutely.
studio, a cameraman.
Yes. I hope that's been useful to people to think about their friends, think about getting more and spending more time with the really good ones.
Yeah, and spend time on them. They're valuable. You need
You
them in your
reap
life.
what you sow, don't you?
You do.
So to
yeah. Well
get a
put.
friend, you have to be a friend.
Yes. Oh, look
think
at you with all the phrases today.
Yeah, Chris Croft. Somebody else said that. I can't remember where I got that from. But I think that's really, really true. And
Yeah.
so as I sit here going, I'm not sure whether I've got enough close friends. I probably should put more time into doing things for my friends.
Yeah.
I might do that. I'm not going to commit on microphone, but I might do that.
We'll come back to that later.
Yes, and we will see everybody next week.